Everybody, another midweek check. Can you tell where I am today? This is one of my very favorite spots in Oaklair. Give you a better look there. It's a river, right? And the big river going through Oaklair is the Chippewa. The Oaklair River meets the Chippewa about a half mile downstream from here. This is the High Bridge, right? Converted railroad bridge that's now for bicyclists and pedestrians. I just love it. It's like a 4-minute bike ride from St. James. Maybe not even, maybe it's 3 minutes. And sometimes I just get a little stir crazy and I think, well, I'll just take a little quick ride out to the High Bridge and I'll kind of sit here. So it's beautiful, isn't it? Maybe at the end of the talk, well, can I just pivot this? No, I'm not going to mess with it. It took a while to set up the camera on my bicycle, but when we close, I'll point it upstream. So, I got a spam call coming in. You know how that happens. Then you find out it's an emergency, but I'm pretty sure this is a spam. So, some parish news, some other things to talk about. We had a first school mass today. It was I forget the line in the first reading. It had something to do about a new beginning and I don't know. I thought, well, that's a good line to hang on to for the first mass of the year. New beginnings, fresh start. And I just asked the kids, I said, well, do you have any goals for this year? Do you want to improve on anything? And well, 95% of them said they want to be better at softball, better at baseball, better at gymnastics, better at soccer. So I thought, that's good. I guess that's where I was at too in those days. But then I said, any spiritual goals? And, they said, I'll pray more, or I can't remember all of them exactly. One of them finally said, I want to love God more. What's that? That's from the dam, I think. Does that mean a dam gate is opening up? He said, I want to love God more. And it's like, whoa, what should we do? What do we have to do? Do you have to do anything to make that goal happen? Because that's the other thing. Like, if you want to be better at soccer, well, how are you going to make that goal happen? It's like practice, blah, blah, blah. And so it's one thing to have admirable goals. It's another thing to have a strategy. How are we going to accomplish them? So to love God, I say go to church every week, pray. I think they said, be kind. They had good answers, so that was good. That's a good goal. We should grow to love God more together this year. So great to hear them singing again. And in light of the Annunciation violence, we are locking the doors after Mass begins. So don't be late. I guess you can still get in if you ring the bell of the church school office. But it's something to contemplate, that violence, all these beautiful children around you, so it just adds to the sadness of that day. But we had a good Mass together, so that was good. What do we got? Ryan, our new staff member, Ryan Lutke, who took Patrice's spot, who took Jackie's spot, pastoral minister. He wants to get going with the OCIA. He has some interest, and some people are interested, but now's the time. They're going to start probably beginning of October. So if you know anybody, or maybe your spouse or a friend, it's really a nice process, and we've had great leaders for that. Steve Dickoff has been a steady partner in that ministry, but on staff we've had, Jackie was fantastic at it, Patrice was fantastic at it. Ryan will be, I know he will be, because he's done it at his former parish. So good. In fact, some people, I think they're pretty sure they couldn't go, but they knew Ryan. They said, this would be a great year if Ryan could do it, but I just don't think we can do it because of our schedules and everything. So, and we try to be flexible within reason. People have limitations. So anyway, that's always a big part of our parish. So I hope we get a nice group together for our OCIA. That's the Becoming Catholic class, to say it in shorthand. Also for Catholics who want to be fully initiated, confirmed. What do we got? Pastoral Council met last night. So 2 things out of that. So I'll be mentioning this a lot in the next couple of weeks. But there are these listening sessions, town hall meetings. You listen, they listen, all about the future of the diocese and how we're going to use our resources to best serve the people of Western Wisconsin. Do you know what that is? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Is it because the dam?
Yeah.
Is it opening up or?
That's usually what goes off.
Okay.
I don't know how many times.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been here when that happened. It's cool. Yep, see you. So these town hall meetings, there'll be 2 in Oaklair, October 5th, October 6th, October 5th at Regis, October 6th at St. Olaf. And, you know, it's pastoral planning. It's like, how do we use our resources? There's fewer priests being ordained, still about the same number of parishes as when we had like 5 times the priests that we do now. And different dioceses have handled it differently. And we've relied a lot on international priests, and they've been a great blessing to us. You know, but you know, maybe having so many parishes with fewer, not just fewer priests, but fewer people going to Mass. You might have a church that can hold 500 people, and they have 4 Masses and a total attendance of like 100, 103. Maybe it doesn't make sense to have that parish stand alone with all those Masses when people aren't going. So that's why we've been having pew counts for years. So part of it is you'll hear, you know, the statistics. How many people are going to church? How many priests are there? How many parishes do we have? And then it's also to hear from people about their values, what they see in church. And what I really like about this process, it's supposed to become more of a bottom-up. It's not like there's going to be this frame that's dropped on us and say, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. But there really is an effort to inform the people of God, the realities on the ground, to hear from the people of God about what church means to them and what's important to them. And I think underneath it all is a desire to really get us all on board together with mission, that we are here to spread the good news of Jesus Christ. And that's the goal. So it's not, they talk about having a pivot from self-preservation. I just want to keep what's familiar to me intact, to break away, pivot from self-preservation to generous donating our lives in service to the world on mission. So I'd love everybody that's within, these are all over the diocese. There's going to be like 25, 30 sessions like this, but 2 in Oaklair will be October 5th, October 6th. Pastoral Council's committed to going, staff is committing to going, but it's for everybody. So I hope to, you know, hundreds of people from St. James can go to one of those nights. We get the wheels turning. Bishop Gerard is very committed on continuing the mission of Jesus in Western Wisconsin, and sees a lot of challenges and knows that we can't do anything without Jesus. And he's very dedicated to being grounded in a relationship with Christ, each of us individually and together. So I like that. It's not just a business thing, a business plan. It's trying to get together and feel our mission in Christ and do some planning. So, okay, that's big. The other thing, a little lighter, but Joe Muir brought a plan to light up the cross. There's a big silver cross on the very front of the church as you look at the front doors from 11th Street. And he thought, why don't we get some lights shining up on that? And he consulted with an electrician, and they came up with a plan and a quote. And there's some anonymous donor that would even be willing to pay for it. And the Pastoral Council basically liked that idea. So you might see nothing too gaudy, but that cross lit up, you know, at night, so in front of church. So that's one concrete thing you might see changed. Fire pit. I think, did I do the chat from the fire pit last week? So they did the final touches on it, so it's all done. Put mortar between the paving stones and spread some grass seed. I was hoping we get some rain to get that grass seed sprouted, but I asked the Munziger family. I said, hey, what do you say we have a kickoff, an inaugural fire? So we're gonna, it's September 27th, the Saturday, after the Saturday Mass. We'll go out there, and I have a cube game in the garage. We'll crack that out. I have some bocce balls, can crack those out. So maybe a couple lawn games. See, it's gonna be starting getting pretty dark. It'll be a little bit of light. Yeah, a little bit of light in the sky yet. I think it's gonna maybe 20 to 7. Wait a minute. We were gonna maybe plan an outdoor mass for October since our last one got rained out again. We were 2 for 4 this year with outdoor masses. And one was threatening, so it wasn't very well attended, threatening weather. But I think October sunset's like 6:30. So that seems early, doesn't it? But anyway, we'll have some fun, get the fire going there and roast some marshmallows. Be nice. That'd be the 27th. Next Sunday would be the 28th. Be parish bike ride. Right? Well, across this bridge, more than likely. I think last time we didn't, though. There's this new sidewalk that's less demanding of the bicyclist to get up a hill. So sometimes we take that, and then we don't go up the hill that takes you to the high bridge if we're coming back. What do we got? We got weddings. We had the great Mayor Kincaid wedding last weekend. Went real well. We have the Borofka red wine wedding this weekend. Then the following weekend after that, we have Brianna Brickner and Michael Carbonaro. So it's good. Then there's one in October too, at the end of the month. Let's see, Catholic Work Camp. So you might recall, not this past summer, but 2 summers ago, a group of youth and myself, actually, I went for half of it, went to Billings, Montana, to a Catholic Hearts Work Camp. Well, we're going to do it again this summer. Where are we going to go? What exotic location will we go to? Oaklair. Yeah, I mean, Beth and Kelly on the way back, they said, wouldn't it be cool if we could do one of these in Oaklair? So the week right after July 4th, I think July 4th is a Sunday maybe, we'll host that. Will we get 250 people to Oaklair like there were 250 people in Billings? I don't know. But they will be housed at Regis High School, and be a lot of footwork trying to get local charities to have work projects for the people to come. So it'll be basically you wake up, you pray, you go to your workstations, come back at 3, have snacks, shower up, have dinner, and then in the evening there's kind of a praise and worship and kind of a rally, a faith rally and witnessing, and everybody who went last time seemed to enjoy it quite a bit. So that's kind of exciting. We have such creative and ambitious in a good way, ambitious religious ed leaders, Beth and Kelly. It's like, what can we do this year to get our youth excited, And so that's one of the biggies right there. More on that, of course, as the year goes on. Whew. I'm probably going to unsubscribe or get too many emails, but I got one. It was the 13th or 12th century Indian mystic named Rumi. I kind of like the quote. It said, if you are irritated by every rub, how will your mirror ever be polished? If you're irritated by every rub, how will your mirror ever be polished? I like that. I think we become better when we interact with others like stones get polished by having some resistance and grit, or the waters rush over them with sand. I think a good marriage can be like that, when you're honest with each other and with love, come to trust that you just love each other and want each other to be the best. But you have someone in your life that can correct you. It can be like that rub. That if you turn away from every rub, you'll never be a shining mirror. But if you let people rub you with a little abrasive cleanser once in a while, it helps us to shine. I just heard an interview with a priest who was talking about celibacy, and he said, the greatest temptation with celibacy isn't like breaking the vows, but it's becoming an egoist, to become totally self-centered, because you don't have those people in your life maybe that tell you, that your shirt's untucked. though I actually do. Thank you very much. Uh, no, but anyway, it's good to have something to rub against us. Then that way we can shine. How will our mirror ever shine if we never have any resistance in our lives or constructive criticism? Oh, what else do I got? I got a few things on. So the Zach Shipman, he's a captain on the North football team. Because he's captain, he's in charge of doing a service project. So he contacted us to see what we could do at St. James. We're going to talk about that this afternoon at staff meeting. What we could get a bunch of strong football players to do around the parish. I think this summer, the Regis football team was well used by Brian. They moved a ton of stuff out of our hall into these storage containers so they could renovate, put in the new flooring. So it's nice that these football teams are emphasizing service, right? Next week, the office will be closed on Wednesday. We're going to have a staff retreat. I hope people understand. It's good we have our staff meetings and we pray at them and we get a little spiritual renewal there every week. But once a year, once the year begins, we like to take about 5 hours, watch a video clip, do some more personal sharing, and really get on board with each other for the year ahead. So, be good. We welcome Ryan. Nick's been with us a couple years now, and Ryan, of course, in his first months with us. So. Let's see. Be bored. Okay. The Pope called, not me. He called Father Romanelli. Father Romanelli, you might recall, is the pastor in Gaza City, Holy Family Parish. And I've been wondering, they've had this evacuation order. Everyone should, Israel army says, get out of Gaza City because we're going to basically mow it down. And you have fair warning. If you're here, don't blame us, kind of thing. Pretty brutal. But so did the people of Holy Family Parish in Gaza City pack their bags? They did not. So as of today's story that I saw on the Vatican News website, the Pope called Father Romanelli on Tuesday, and the pastor said, we told him we are well, even if the situation remains difficult. The Pope follows everything very closely and is committed to ending the war. These were some of his comments. Then he said, so right now, it doesn't sound like much has changed at the parish. You might recall that it was hit by a tank fire, Israeli tank fire in July, like a steeple or something, and there's been some deaths, but he said 450 people are sheltering there, including a ton of elderly people and women and children. It doesn't exclude that there's men, but you can see on a Facebook page, they have mass, every day in a rosary hour. Not a lot of people in church when I looked at rosary hour last time on video. But he said even in the midst of everything that's going on, we had a wedding. They celebrated a wedding, can you imagine? And a baby boy was born in the parish named Marcos. May he live a long and happy life and be able to write a memoir of his youth in Gaza. What will the world be like in 20 years, We don't know. It's kind of, could paint different pictures. Oh, someone's happy. Or maybe they're not. He's just trying to get psyched. I think it's just him, just a guy jogging. And he said, okay, those 450 people, most of the population here in Gaza City does not want to leave. Everywhere there's danger, but many want to remain in the city. We try to accompany them and help as we can. Hear about some of the residents are like, well, if we go, where should we go? I mean, they're handing out tents. Where do we go? And all these feeding stations where there's violence, even at those. It's just, you can't win for losing there right now, for sure. Death every day, threatens every day. So anyway, that parish is kind of hanging on, and I think, good for them. And he closed his comments. He did an interview with the Vatican News, Father Romanelli did. He said, we pray to the Virgin to grant us the miracle of peace. Last thing I want to talk about is, I saw a couple of YouTube videos, which is ironic, you'll find out why. Really about how, this isn't like brand new news, but I heard a message in a very focused way, how difficult it is to be bored these days, to be quiet, to not have stimulation, to leave your phone at home. And the people who were saying this said it's really kind of hurting the way we think and our ability to process information. And the first video I saw was by a Harvard professor, and he said boredom is good because your brain has different modes, and one is like when you're involved in a task, it is focused on something. Another is just called the default mode. And he said we need that. That's when you're just driving and you had a stoplight, and are you okay just waiting in a car with the radio off? Not, it's like, oh, I might have 15 seconds. I have to wait at this light. What's on my phone? It's like we can't not be stimulated. It's like we found a way to prevent ourselves from being bored. It's our phones. It's all this interaction. He says the cost of that is when we are bored, your brain goes into what he called default mode. But it's where you ponder questions like, what's important in my life? Meaning, what's the purpose of my life? All those kind of things, all those deeper questions are never pondered because we're always occupied. We're always distracted by something. And as a result, we're more depressed and more anxious because we don't have a sense of meaning and purpose like we used to when we had more time to sit and ponder. I was really grateful. I know even when you're on a bike, you're doing something, but the way I heard the thing was that, those kind of exercise, if you do it without a podcast in your ear, without, it's a good time. And I find that you're just kind of pedaling away in kind of a monotonous sort of, and I don't listen to anything while I'm bicycling. I did once when I was a young priest on Alaska. I listened to Moby Dick on tape, 45 minutes a side, and I had a 45-minute loop. It was nice, it was efficient. I got books read, but I also rear-ended a parked bus, and destroyed my bicycle. Thankfully, I didn't hurt myself. But so as another lesson, why not to listen to something when you're on your bike? That's where you piece together things, It's like, I would say, just for example, one of the things that I do as far as looking for meaning in my life is just preparing the weekend homily. And there may be some times when I run out of time and I'm just like, I got to write this homily. I'll read a commentary. I'll jot down these notes, and I can crank out a homily that way. But I think the best ideas come out when I'm just riding my bike, or I'm sitting in kind of a contemplative prayer mode, and I'm just kind of pondering the scriptures with the staff or by myself, and the connections start to get made in a way that's not just like me forcing it, but it's like I'm available. My mind is available to any thoughts and memories. I'm not filling it myself. It's available. And basically these authors are saying that just doesn't happen anymore with so many people, mainly because of the phones, but so many other things. It's like you can be watching even like a 10-minute video, and how long can we stand to be bored? 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second of boredom's enough. I'm gonna flip the screen. I have not done TikTok. I've seen people in waiting rooms that I think are doing TikTok. They're just thumbing. And I'm bad in my own way too, so I don't mean to put it, but I see what the guy's talking about with these TikTok things. They just, oh, that's interesting for 2 seconds. Now I'm bored. What's interesting for 2? So he said, the key is to train yourself, to allow yourself to be bored. And one of the great fruits, which made a lot of sense to me, is the more you can not run from boredom in your day-to-day life, the less boring you'll find your job. When things have to be done. The less boring you'll find your husband or wife. It's not like every presence we're with needs to stimulate me all the time. I can just be You know, does it sound a lot healthier? You wonder how many relationships are destroyed because people can't be bored with each other. You know? So, I mean, I just thought the way they said it was really great. So there's a war going on for your attention. You know, you have agency. You can choose to put the media down, to create a quiet space, to drive without the radio on, to, you know, whatever it is you do. This one guy said, we don't have any phones out after 7 p.m. At dinner, we want to be present to people that are with us, not people that aren't with us. That was kind of a nice way to put it. You know, just to have some parameters, so it doesn't control you, but you control it, right? So let yourself be bored was the basic thing I was getting, and then we'll be able to think better too, because we'll be able to focus on something for a longer amount of time. He used the example of the Lincoln Douglas debates. I guess those lasted 3 hours, and thousands of people heard them. Like, it's when Lincoln and Douglas were running against each other for U.S. Senate, I think, in Illinois, and he said people could listen for 3 hours. He said, now forget it. He said even 1960, 100 years later, after the Nixon-Kennedy debates, much shorter, because TV happened. There's more stimulation, and now it doesn't seem like politics is just like little sound bites and feeling rather than really thinking through what's smart, what's wise. It's like, let's just get somebody on my side emotionally, and then we'll do whatever we want or something. It's not great as far as people thinking through problems, and I see that. I guess I see that. So let yourself be bored. Get used to not needing to be stimulated all the time. The cost is a lack of focus and creativity and meaning, and more depression, more anxiety. The solution is to let yourself be bored. So, anyway, here's talk about a nice let yourself be bored. That's Mary. That's one of Pope Francis's favorite devotions. Mary, untie her of knots. See, she's untying a knot there. But if you got a short attention span, it's not easy to untie a knot, is it? You have to kind of stick at it for a while and do your best. So that's it. Life's problems, trying to figure it out. Let the substance of what's going on in our lives sink into our hearts a little bit. It's kind of working out a knot. These are all things I'm terrible at. I guess that's why I probably was attracted to those videos. It's maybe a little late notice, but on October 6th, we're going to discuss this book, Cherish Belonging. Father Gregory Boyle, Jesuit priest, ministers to gang members and former gang members in Los Angeles. We read Tattoos on the Heart a few years ago. This is his new book, came out last spring. It's very good. It's about extended meditation on how can we, in these divisive times, how can we plot a way forward. Oh my gosh, here's some dogs. Hey guys. Oh, how can we plot a way forward together in these kind of strange times? And, he's just totally committed that everyone is good, everyone is loved by God, and the problem is we're not aware of that enough. And I think the title, Cherish Belonging, is that we've forgotten that we belong to one another. Quotes Mother Teresa, says, the reason there's no peace in the world is because we've forgotten that we belong to one another. So, on that note, let's pray for peace. Pray for the people, Holy Family in Gaza. Pray for all those who live without peace here in Oaklair and beyond. That we might know our goodness, our blessing in God. That we might care for one another. That our hearts may feel the peace of this scene today. Okay, I'll give you just a little look here. Challenge is always getting up, isn't it? Okay. Beautiful, right? And then this way we got I was making all the siren sounds. So, alrighty. God bless you, everybody.